There is a massive disconnect in the audience nowadays. There's so many distractions, people checking social media, and the attention span is only 7 seconds. Now, how can we get our audience attention? How can we demand it? Well, by some time now, people have overlooked the power of short storytelling, and storytelling is part of us. Is how we have evolved. It's the universe gift to us to assure the survival of our species. But now in marketing, we have to create a greater connection than ever before if we want to survive this. If we want to survive the old model, because what's happening is that people that are doing marketing nowadays are bringing the old model to the internet, and it doesn't work like that. In the old model, you could demand the attention because there was nothing else. I mean, if you were watching your favorite show in primetime TV, the only thing that could happen is that you will go to the fridge and grab a glass of something, but you will come back right back when that ad was over, and you continue watching your show. And that that's not happening today, because now everything is on demand. Your your favorite shows are on Netflix or Amazon or Apple TV. And the thing is that what these platforms want to do for their audiences to eliminate the interruption. No interruption whatsoever for the audience, to somehow improve the quality of the experience. Now, if we can engage with our audience in a more meaningful way through the power of storytelling, or what storytelling offers, which is to create that emotional connection, to get our audience not only to engage with us and tell us why they like whatever it is, if we're teaching something, if we're coaches, or working for an agency, that we can let the market tell us what they want, and we can also offer a better experience. Now, I want to bring this to your attention, and to this audience, that they are. I mean, when we talk gossip, or we have this conversation by the water cooler, or we're trying to do a network, we're going to a networking event and we're trying to connect with somebody, they always ask you, like, hey, so what's your name? And you go and say, well, my name is David, or Albert, or John. And then it's like, that's it, end of the conversation. Like, what's next? Oh, what do you do for a living? I work as a consultant. Then again, that's it. There's no more interaction. There's nothing else. I mean, how do you dig in? How do you dive in to have a meaningful conversation? And that's where we're going. I mean, that's what, if we want to survive this new era of all these social platforms, we have to go to the next level and dig a little deeper into that connection, that emotional connection with our market, with our audience. And when we try to do that, what happens is that we draw a blank. We like, okay, what can I say? And then you start feeling anxiety, and you don't know what to say or how to start the conversation. And that's what I want to bring this to your attention. According to Graham Greene, he says, a story has no beginning or end. Arbitrarily, one chooses that moment of experience for which to look back, or from which to look ahead. And the reason for that is that whatever you decide to start your story, you have to awaken the curiosity. That's what it's important. And the different things, different elements, that I'm not going to go into it right now, but I do want to bring that to your attention. It's the character's journey. who is this person? What is he going through? What is his comfort zone, and what gets him out of his comfort zone? The character's journey. Then the transformation. What is going to happen to this character, to this protagonist? Is what are the internal forces that are acting out, and the external forces that stopping him from getting to where he wants to go, to his goal? And the plot. What is? I mean, there's no conflict. There's no story without conflict, but now we can say that it's not conflict for a story, meaning that we have conflicts in our everyday life. We have to make decisions at every step. Do we cross the street or we don't? Do we go right or left? Do I leave at this time or x time? I mean, we have to make decisions, and all these decisions sometimes can turn into a conflict because there are two opposite forces. Like, oh, if you're working, for example, if you're working and you have to turn in something for a client, but then at the same time you have an appointment with your partner or with your children, what do you do? I mean, we professionals deal with that decision all the time. Do we stand by our client, or we say to our client, hey, you know what, there's something important I have to do, and somewhere I have to be for my kids? And then what you wage in there is like, will my client understand that, or would I be failing my client, or have I failed before? I mean, all these different emotions come into play in the plot, in the conflict. And then comes the exploration. I mean, you could actually start this conversation by the exploration. So what did you learn, or what do you think you're going to learn? Because you're going to explore both sides of this story. Like, you explore the problem, and then you're going to explore the possible solutions to that, until you return to the known, until you return to what you are accustomed to, but now you are transformed by the experience, you are transformed by the journey of this character. So it doesn't matter where you start. I recommend, in my experience, start at the climax of the story, the attention grabber. What is it, to awaken this curiosity, and then you're gonna set the tone of your story. I give you an example. I think I said this before, but anyhow, I was at an event. I was invited to talk to a group of women about, it doesn't really matter, but it was about a 50 women, and the whole thing was, what's the difference between men and women in business? How men act in business, and how women addresses decisions in the workplace. So what I started doing, I was presenting all the facts and all the biology aspects that allow men to be less attached and make decisions based on numbers, or just looking at numbers and say, okay, this is the right way to go, this is it. We do not care who gets the axe, as long as we keep our profits, or we keep the company moving. In turn, women are more nourished. They are caretakers. They have to make sure that everybody in the company is good. So I started doing all this, presenting all the facts and evidence, and I noticed that I was losing my audience. I realized that, and I stopped for a minute, and I said, you know what? I like to tell you about the time that I almost died in a plane, or at least I thought I was going to die. That right there. I didn't start saying, like, you know what? One day I was going on a trip, and to point B, and I got on the plane, and I talked to the person who was sitting next to me. No, I started at the climax. I mean, at the point that my experience, my at that moment, led me to transform, or led me to think about life. and I got everybody's attention right there. And then I use that story to illustrate the point of how women act in different situations uh, than men. So start at the climate, at the point of highest uh, emotional experience, and that will get your audience attention. And we have to be aware of this. I mean, we have to pay attention to our surroundings because there are stories everywhere, and we have to start thinking about what experience and lessons we can draw from everything that happened in our daily life. And a good tip for this is like, take a moment at the end of your day to write down things that you notice, things that you are aware of, and try to put that in a story form, crafted in such a way that you can address these things. Because what I'm presenting here to you is that, and we as marketers or professionals, consultants, coaches, we have to be persuasive to communicate our message. And as I say this, stories form that emotional connection with the audience, and that's what's gonna drive the message home. The audience is gonna leave there thinking about this story over and over again. And one example that I give you there is that we justify whatever it is that we want to communicate in our product or brand. We justify that, and we have to aim to align our stories with whatever story is happening in our audience, in the audience's head. What they're telling themselves, what has been their experiences, and what is the emotional distress or not that they have gone to, that have taken them to this time in and place. So this is why I couldn't agree more with Dr. Howard Gardner. Stories constitute the single most powerful weapon in a leader's arsenal. And what is a leader? Because we find ourselves in that position all the time. Whether you want to admit it or not, we always leading somebody. Why? Because as John C. Maxwell says, leading is just having influence. And you definitely influence on somebody else's life. Whether that is your kids or your partner, husband, wife, peers, we always influencing in somebody. So there's a lesson right there. And who are called the haters? Those that thinks that those who say things like we're not kids. We don't have to hear stories. We don't. I mean, give me the facts. The things that facts don't sell. Facts do not convey emotions. I mean, people will forget you 20 seconds after you leave the room. So those haters are the ones you have to like turn a deaf ear and try to communicate and connect with your audience through stories, because you will leave a print. And if you in this channel, if you're listening to this video, you definitely have an idea that that's how it works. I mean, that's how you become a leader and a person of influence. Why is it so important? Why do we pay attention to it? It's a survival mechanism. Like I said before, is the universe gift to our species to evolve and to survive. And the 3 points that I wanna draw your attention to is like, when you're gonna start building your character, crafting your story, you have to think about what's the lesson. What is that's gonna give you a map for your character, and that's the part of the internal journey that you want to share with your audience. And then there's the persuasion part of it, that is your view of the world, and that's how you're going to persuade this person or this audience, by presenting your view of the world. And you have to show what are the challenges and obstacles that this character it's facing, whether those are internal or external. Because what's internal, whatever fears you have, whatever's stopping you, whatever's limiting you from achieving your goal, and external is whatever else is out there, time, money, promotions, a place, a time, all those external things that are conflicting with or stopping your character from achieving its goal. Very simple. Don't aim to just entertain. Yes, like in that scene in Gladiator, are you entertained? Yes, we look for entertainment all the time. But just as there is in movies, if you pay attention, there's always, even in dark movies, there's a moment of entertainment, but there is that other face of it, that there's a moral to the story, there's a lesson to the story. So you have to make it matter. So this person leaves the room thinking over and over again about that story, and that will take them to, you know what, I need to share this with somebody. I need to tell somebody about this that I just learned about this story. So you have to introduce to polarity. You know, you don't be afraid to be controversial in your story, to put out points out there that make your audience think and consider different points of view, and that's always going to be interesting. And we are after that. That's what we're looking for, to be interesting in our story. So in closing, here's what I have shared with you. Where to begin at the climax of the story, so you can grab your audience attention from the get-go. Show the survival, what is your character's journey from where he stands to where he wants to be, what are the challenges and obstacles that character have to overcome, and make it matter. Make it so that the audience carries with them a lesson that they will want to share. So it's very short video on some elements of storytelling. So you go tonight, think about what happened during your day, and see if you can get those elements to craft your own story, to share with somebody an experience that you have, a revelation, an epiphany that you had about your day. Because stories are all around us. Why do I repeat this? Because we tend to draw blank because we overthink it too much. So don't overthink it. Just, grab a piece of paper and write what you remember, and then based on those elements and what we have mentioned, where you stand and where you want to be, and what are the obstacles or what the internal external obstacles of your characters, limitations, craft a story. And I would love your comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know your experiences. What if try it out and let me know how to work out for you, and share with the rest of us, so we can all learn and be better marketers, better leaders, better coaches, better consultants. Okay, so until next time, I hope you like this. Like, comment, share.